Hello everyone, welcome to FilmHead, where you will get all kinds of information about newly released movie on internet, HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon Video, or any other OTT platform or in theater worldwide. Let's start our today's topic as top 10 best psychopathic and thriller suspense movie. Number 10, Frailty. Frailty is about such a man, a kind and gentle father who is visited by an angel who assigns him to murder demons in human form. It is brought to our attention that Andrea Yates thought she could drown her children to stop them from being possessed by Satan. The killings in Frailty are equally horrifying. The father recruits his two sons, who are roughly 7 and 10, to assist him in killing the victims he brings home. Frailty starts with Matthew McConaughey's character seated in a Dallas FBI office waiting to talk to a particular agent. When the agent, Wesley Doyle, finally meets Matthew M.M. conspicuously doesn't shake his hand and proceeds to tell Doyle that he knows who the God's Hand killer is. This is not, you understand, an abusive father. He loves his children. Fenton walks into the FBI's office asking for Officer Doyle and narrates to him how he and his brother killed several people on the orders of their father, who was supposedly following God's orders. The angel made this very obvious. The children's lives are distorted throughout by the terrible and intolerable pressure they are under. Frailty is an extraordinary work, concealing in its depths not only unexpected story turns but also implications, hidden at first, that make it even deeper and more sad. It is the first film directed by the actor Bill Paxton, who also plays the father and succeeds in making Dad, not a villain but a sincere man lost within his delusions. Number 9, The Machinist. The Machinist is a superb drama film of 2004. The Machinist is an instant classic, a riveting descent into madness with Christian Bale bringing his A-game. Christian Bale lost more than 60 pounds in preparation for his performance as the gaunt, troubled Trevor Resnick in The Machinist. Trevor Resnick has not slept for a year. His every waking minute has become an unremitting nightmare of confusion, paranoia, guilt, anxiety, and terror, each of which is part of an escalating series of clues that will lead to the source of his mysterious affliction. There's a guy like him in every union shop, a guy who knows all the rules and works according to them and is a pain in the ass about them. His coworkers think he is strange, maybe he frightens them a little. His boss asks for a urine sample. One day he gets distracted and as a result one of his coworkers loses a hand. The victim, Miller, almost seems less upset about the accident than Trevor is. But then Trevor has no reserve, no padding. His nerve endings seem exposed to pain and disappointment. Marie is the other side of the coin, a cheerful presence in the middle of the night. Then there is the issue of Ivan, John Sharian, the unsettling and distracting coworker who might have played a role in the mishap. He once lost a few fingers in a drill press, and his toes were used to replace them by the doctors. He laments, "I cannot shuffle cards the way I used to." The Machinist has an ending that provides a satisfactory, or at least a believable, explanation for its mysteries and contradictions. Number 8, A Tale of Two Sisters. A Tale of Two Sisters is a 2003 South Korean psychological thrilling film written and directed by Kim Ji-woon. A Tale of Two Sisters is loosely based on a popular Joseon-era Korean fairy tale, the story of Janghwa and Hongrian. Following the death of their mother, a father of two girls remarries a woman who does not like the girls and repeatedly abuses them. When the eldest is about to marry, the stepmother sabotages the marriage, which exiles the daughter from the family. The stepmother, not wanting to waste any of her family's money or her son's inheritance, comes up with a plan to prevent it. Teenage girl, Sumi, is being treated for shock and psychosis in a mental institution. When Eunju discovers her pet bird murdered and disfigured and her personal photos vandalized, her relationship with her stepdaughters deteriorates. Locking Sooyeon in the closet, she feels that these acts are related to the females in some way. After releasing her, Sumi informs her father about the mistreatment. Her father tells her that Sooyeon is deceased and asks her to quit acting out. Sumi does not think it is true because she thinks her sister is crying violently just next to her. However, Sumi arrives and criticizes Eunju for interfering with her family. Angry at Sumi's criticisms, Eunju leaves Sooyeon to die and tells Sumi that she'll regret this moment. Sumi leaves the house, unaware of both her sister and her mother's fate. Number 7, The Silence of the Lambs. Jonathan Dim's direction is amazing. The film is shot in a ceaselessly atmospheric manner, and Dim never lets the suspense drop. The most spectacular entrance scene in contemporary cinema history occurs in this movie, and the character making the entry is motionless. This meet-cute is also the least adorable. FBI rookie Clarice Starling is sent to interview notorious incarcerated serial killer Dr. Hannibal Lecter in his glass cell to see if he can be intrigued or persuaded or teased into helping the agency track down another psychotic murderer, nicknamed Buffalo Bill, who is still at large. The film went on to claim 5 Oscars at the 64th Academy Awards, including in top categories for actor, actress, and director. Before the killer skins victim, the killer sticks a moth down his victim's throat, symbolic of his own aberrant psychosexual condition, the need to turn from a moth to a butterfly. A curdling psychodrama in the highest Hitchcock order, The Silence of the Lambs should itself emerge as a butterfly at the box office, likely to flutter off with some very pretty grosses for Orion Pictures. Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins won Oscars for Best Actress and Actor. Clarice gives Lecter personal information in defiance of her supervisor Scott Glenn's harsh warnings in return for Lecter's insights on Bill's psychological makeup and, as the FBI observes, desperately random killing technique. However, desperately random is obviously not random at all to Lecter's superior pathological insights. He reveals to the naive young Clarice an exact killing pattern. Overall, this is best psychopathic killer film that must be watched by you. Number 6. Psycho. Psycho, which is an Indian film, narrates the narrative of a blind man who becomes entangled in a murder mystery and is based on the Buddhist tale of Angulimala, a feared serial murderer. Psycho opens in Coimbatore in terrifying room in which a young girl lies tied onto a table begging for mercy as the psychopath approaches and butchers off her head, blood rushing out of the headless neck filling the screen. When the victim's relatives beg him to find the murderer, a police investigation is launched in the following scene, led by an officer named Muthu, who continues to sing old A.M. Raja songs. In another scene, Gotham, a blind musician, is listening to radio host Tahini interview a psychiatrist. The doctor clarifies to her and the audience what a psycho/serial killer is, and we learn that there are 10 victims. Gotham is in love with Tahini and follows her everywhere, and at last, when she gives him a sniff of a chance, she is abducted by the killer. The rest of the screenplay is whether the blind man can rescue the woman he loves or not, along with a highly debatable psychoanalysis of the killer. What works best in Psycho is the suspense that keeps the audience interested until the very end with curiosity about the villain, though the payoff is far from satisfying. There is one poignant scene in which Nithya Menon guides Uday into the police station, and when she asks him to linger on when her photo and uniform is found hanging there. So you should watch it, and highly recommend it to you. Number 5. Odela Railway Station. This film has very thrilling moment based on a string of murders terrorized the people of Odela village. There is a ritual of killing in a row. Who is behind this? How did police officer Anudeep hit these? All of these questions will grab you till the end. Odela Railway Station, the latest Telugu original movie offering on AHA OTT platform, is a decent watch. Dipping into real-life happenings, the realistic crime thriller set in a rural milieu maintains the suspense till the climax, without resorting to the worn-out clichés normally associated with the genre. The little Telangana hamlet of Odela is shaken by a string of newlywed bride rape killings. The story starts at the train station, where a muddy, handcuffed woman is making her way to the police station while holding a man's severed head. The flashback takes the viewer through the events leading up to the climax, as seen by a young police officer Anudeep, who is in town for a 3-month field training stint. The identity of the perpetrator remains a mystery, as several potential suspects are found innocent. How the police officer goes beyond the call of duty to nab the criminal, and how Radhika stumbles onto the truth makes up the story. There's a lot of thriller and suspense with twist at the end. The story skillfully combines various elements like crime, social interactions, sex education, and youthful idealism, without bordering on the boring. Overall, Odela Railway certainly interested till the end. Number 4. Forgotten. Forgotten, a Korean film, is a really compelling psychological horror film that is expertly written and boldly directed. The story as a whole is very twisted. When I thought the story had already shown its twist, another twist happens, then another revelation is shown. It's like a story within a story. This movie is so packed up with tension and drama that left me in the edge of my seat throughout the movie. Forgotten also got solid performances from its actors. One night, while it was raining hard, Jin Suk witnesses his older brother Yusuk being kidnapped by a group of men that dumped him into a van and left. After 19 days of being gone, Yusuk suddenly returns home, but he doesn't remember anything from his disappearance. Jin Suk, on the other hand, starts noticing some changes about his older brother, including the limp on his leg being gone. making Jin-suk's suspicion grow about his brother. Jin-suk believes he is still in the 1990s, when his only concern is passing his exams. However, in the real world, he is now a lonely old man, a suspect in a past crime, and he is being forcibly and unintentionally brought back to the house where he is accused of killing his wife and daughter. There are some struggles that led him to being confined in a hospital bed, and Yusuk admitting to the twisted truth. The fact that Yusuk is actually the same son whose family died and was left alone to fend for himself. The plot twist and execution is really Dayback. They made a total fool out of you for most of the movie and saved itself in the last 30 minutes by revealing the cruel truth. However, the intelligent plot creation becomes forgettable because of how things wrapped up. Everyone dies. Number 3. Ratsasan. Ratsasan is an Indian Tamil psycho killer film. If you don't watch it till now, that means you miss a masterpiece movie of this genre. This is highly recommended for you. This is amongst the best thriller movie to come out of India. This movie is on another level. A serial killer is murdering schoolgirls, and a newbie cop has to track him down before the victim count increases. In the opening scene, 2 elderly men discover a dead corpse of Samyuktha, a 15-year-old school student, who was brutally murdered. Arun Kumar is an aspiring filmmaker who wants to make a movie on psychopaths. For the most part, Ratsasan is a competent thriller. The narrative has a tightness to it that draws us in, particularly up until the intermission. Even the inevitable romance, in which Amla Paul portrays a teacher who captivates Arun, is resolved in a matter of scenes. So much so that Arun's investigation is playing in the background of even the little romance tune. Christopher is the main villain in this film, who looks like very dangerous and keep constant murder of schoolgirls badly. This is the longest roller coaster I have ever sat on. Very gripping narrative with a mind-numbing, soul-quenching background score. From cinematography to editing to acting, all in all a masterpiece. Movie's first half ends at a point where you are hungry to discover the killer, but the second half leaves you at the edge of your seat until you reach home. Still in the reminiscences of the killer, one struggles to sleep. Ratsasan defines what edge of your seat really means. It masterfully balances all the elements of a great thriller with an intelligence and style that only a handful of movies have mastered as of yet. Number 2. No Mercy. No Mercy is an intense revenge thriller that certainly lives up to its name. The story is well told from start to finish. A forensic pathologist, Kong Min-ho, investigates a dismembered and decapitated corpse found by a river body in close coordination with the police. A body is found, and within the first half hour the killer is found. It's the run-up to a thrilling story though, because after that first 30 minutes the movie really starts. The killer has confessed the murder and the coroner who has examined the body, so it seems like a clear case. But the killer has a surprise in store for the coroner, as he has kidnapped his daughter and will kill her if he doesn't get him out of there. From that moment on, this movie knows how to keep the story interesting with various twists and turns and an ending you won't be able to forget. The story itself has a lot of familiar thriller elements. There's a murder mystery, a kidnapping, a race against time, and a cunning criminal behind it all. Raya Sung-bum is great as the subtle and unsuspecting mastermind Lee Sung-hyo. The movie has been praised for its gripping plot, tense atmosphere, and strong performances by the cast. It's a well-crafted thriller that keeps the viewers on the edge of their seats with unexpected twists and turns. The cinematography and the soundtrack are also noteworthy, adding to the overall intensity of the movie. Sol Kyung-gu as Kong is as good as usual, despite the fact that the flaws in the script cause his character to appear naive at times, although the part demanded the exact opposite. The same applies to Ryu Sung-byum as Lee. However, the scenes where they both appear on screen compensate fully. Number 1. I Saw the Devil. I Saw the Devil is a 2010 South Korean action thriller film directed by Kim Ji-woon. It stars Lee Byung-hun as a secret agent who seeks revenge on a serial killer who murdered his wife. The film is known for its graphic violence and dark themes. It received critical acclaim and several awards, but also controversy for its extreme content. I Saw the Devil won 17 awards and was nominated for 19 more. This movie is probably the heaviest one I have ever seen in terms of mental and physical brutality, even though I know movies that touch me even more. Viewers who find graphic sexual content, cannibalism, torture scenes, and harsh language used repeatedly should leave this video and find something else to watch from FilmHead channel. Watching a movie about a monster you have never seen before is open to everyone else. The movie turns around the question if one can, and if so, how one could fight a monster. If two monsters fight each other, can there be a winner, and what are the consequences for other involved people? The movie hides in fact a lot of philosophical content and depth beneath the surface of blood and gore, and is less superficial than it might seem at first sight. The movie opens with Ju-yeon in her car, talking to her fiancé Kim Soo-hyun, who is an agent of the National Intelligence Service, as she waits for a tow truck. Kyung-chul approaches Ju-yeon and offers help to fix her car's flat tire, to which she politely refuses and tells him she'll wait for the tow truck instead. The man doesn't leave. A serial killer's latest victim turns out to be the wife of a highly trained government secret agent who turns the tables on the murderer, relentlessly pursuing him to ensure that he experiences the same terror he instilled in his victims. But the roles of cat and mouse keep switching, the evil at play so pervasive and corrosive that even those on the periphery of the agent's quest for vengeance have their lives drastically changed or ended. So, this movie is also a masterpiece film, and you are highly recommended to watch it. Otherwise, you will miss a great psychological film. Thanks everyone. If you love this video, then do subscribe our channel FilmHead.